guns and a traitor.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Nerditorium with Geek Fruit. It's actually the Nerditorium live. I don't even get the name right these days. But this week is a really cool episode because we're not we have some topical stuff, some mostly non-topical stuff. You can see the title of today's episode. It says Fictional Crushes. It doesn't mean the crushes that we have aren't real. I should have phrased that better. But it means that we have crushes on fictional characters. And discuss all of those things with me is my co-host for today, Ruchi. How's it going?
Hi guys. The
Hello.
fictional crushes is what you call it.
No, but your crush isn't fictional. Your crush is real. Doesn't that make sense?
Yeah, but like your crush is a fictional person, so a fictional crush. And then there's an
Yeah, I
IR
know. But you can appreciate that there may be a room for
some confusion.
yeah.
All crushes are fictional.
Hey. Okay. Since we're entering into that whole what does this all mean kind of space, quick Loki update.
Right.
Now we've been talking about not discussing shows until they finish. We did that for Falcon and the Winter
You've been
Soldier.
discussing that? I've been alright.
No, I mean it's a Geek Fruit standard. It's been happening for the last 6 years where we wait until a show's over and then we do. And we have reviewed so many shows over the years that I don't know why we've never really kind of done a week by week thing. And I just felt that since since we're doing this show every week, we might as well just touch upon it just for kicks. Let's talk about Loki. Since 2 episodes are up, do you know how many episodes there are, Ruchi, on this show?
6, right? They're all supposed to be 6 hours.
6
and
hours, but they don't add up to 6 hours like with 6
They
episodes.
seem to be around 50-55 minutes. So
Okay, so slightly under 6 hours then.
yeah.
So 5.5
It's
hours.
around
So how long was this last episode?
55 minutes.
It was long. Okay, cool. It completely it doesn't seem that long, and it seems really really great. What do you think
Yeah.
of Loki so far? Are you enjoying it? I know you are, but you can tell us why.
It's my favorite so far.
It's your favorite. Only 2 episodes are out, Ruchi, by your own
Yeah, but
admission.
it is my favorite, and it's already like it makes I know I was like the most lenient when it came to like Falcon and the Winter Soldier when we did the episode to
Yeah.
review the entire season, and I
Yeah.
didn't mind it that much just because I was like pleasantly surprised because I was really hoping to be like, but now this makes that look so.
Well, okay, but
Not-
we have discussed
love it.
why that show. I mean, I'm not making excuses for Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and I
I
don't know why.
wasn't. I was really all for it.
Yeah.
And I have been since. I've been like fighting with people in my DMs.
I love fighting
Not really.
with DMs. No, listen. No, the point is that why we defend it is because there are a couple of good reasons for it, right? Like one is they touched upon some like themes that we didn't expect. It was really really nice to see Zemo, some of the other characters, blah blah blah, all of that bromance. But the other thing was that like we kind of got some inside inside info about how it was shot and then scrapped and the whole thing. This is the show to suffer most from the pandemic. And again, that's not an excuse. It's Disney. You should be able to kind of correct that. But I mean, I'm willing to give it a pass because everybody in that show is just very likable and nice, and we love Mackie and Sebastian Stan and Daniel Brühl.
Is that how you say his name?
Brühl, yes.
I've
And
never seen him do any kind of like interview or whatever, so I have no idea what he's.
yeah. It's he's I don't know. He sounds like he's European.
He's just from the continent.
He's from. Yes,
From
he's from Europe somewhere. But yeah, I mean, we were giving that show a hard pass. I mean, it's not a hard pass. We gave it a pass. But this show, on the other hand, Loki, is turning out to be quite quite good at a couple of things. I mean, where it has to kind of nail its kind of parts is one is obviously make sure the character. I mean, we're all about a Loki redemption, and it seems to be on its way to do that. And the other two things was like the script being really entertaining for having two very talkative kind of actors and characters. Like I mean, obviously just been introduced to Owen Wilson's character, but the fact that it's Owen Wilson playing him, and at the same time it's Loki. So you want some of that dialogue, some of that banter to be good. I think it's good there. And then the third thing is just like how they're gonna what kind of story were they gonna make out of this show, and I think that's also been quite a revelation. So what do you think?
Yeah, that's all the elements that I like. And I don't hate Loki. I've always been like really into the
Yeah,
character because I think I've always thought he was like the most. He was definitely always like an afterthought, and Tom Hiddleston said it himself.
yeah.
Like when they first tested for the Dark World, I think they were planning on getting him off, and then the audience just like didn't accept it. Have you
Right.
seen that? It
No,
was
no,
like,
I don't think so. No,
yeah,
they
so
did
they
a test
tested
audience.
it.
Oh,
Yeah,
maybe
they
I've read about
tested it,
this.
and then the audience just didn't believe that he was. So of course, like you're keeping that scene from us because obviously Loki's coming back. So they reshot the ending where.
Oh, I suppose yeah, just that ending where he's Odin at
Yeah.
the end is just like tagged on.
So he's always been likable, and he's been given like crumbs.
Is he
every
your
single-
favorite character?
in the MCU?
Yes.
No, but he's
This
up
is a
there.
setup. Oh, no, I was gonna say then is he Loki one of your? Anyway,
Oh.
point is, you
You
love
tried.
I know I tried. I gave it away. The other thing is, I think they did a great job by of course
No, so
bringing
the
him
point,
back.
yeah. So the point is, every single movie that he's been in 6 of them, right? Yeah. So he's in 6 of them, and he's always serving like whatever the overarching like plot needs. It's never
Yeah.
like he doesn't really have a. He's
Which is great because his whole character is so selfish and
It
egotistical
is.
that it's never really about him in those movies.
yeah, it's never about him. And then he's the most and Tom Hiddleston does whatever he can and like goes above and beyond with whatever he's been given. It's always been very interesting. And again, like we're always more interested in the villain. They seem more layered, especially when you place him opposite like Chris Hemsworth. Sorry guys, he's nice, but
Chris Evans is great. I don't know. I think he's great as Thor. I mean, he's started to show that, especially in Infinity War. I think it's his best movie. But yeah, I mean, I think Loki's always been interesting as well. Yeah, and I think
so
it's good that he's getting this this chance to kind of really shine. Yeah.
and it's cool that they made because a lot of the people's complaints have been like, oh, right, he doesn't really have any traits that are like singular to him. Like he's always just doing whatever the plot needs. He's just there. He's like a
Which is great, right? Because they addressed that in that first episode. I was always wondering how they're gonna catch up Loki to where he is in the main timeline with this Loki who's kind of like escaped that timeline. And we've seen so much character growth in the last few movies, and I was just like, oh man, is it gonna take the entire series for him to basically come back to status quo? But they nailed that. In like one episode, they just covered so much ground. It was almost like a one-act play. It was just like. It was just really well done and cool. Yeah, I'm pretty excited. And the other thing is that I know they're going for the whole timey-wimey thing, but they've explained it all away in a little bit of like just a little bit of dialogue saying that it's cool. You don't have to really think about the timey-wiminess. Like you don't have to think about
it's literally a department that is like my brother was just talking about it. Like there's no montage of like, oh, we're trying to build a time machine. They're just these are pros. So they're going wherever they want, and that has like almost the time travel, and it's not even time travel. Isn't that what he said? Like in one of the interviews, you're not going back in time. You're just sort of jumping in.
You're just jumping in and out and like bringing it back to the original timeline. I just think I think it's really novel the way they've kind of handled it. And the other thing is just like. They don't care about what are the repercussions. Like it was discussed so much in Avengers in Endgame. What happens to the timeline if you branch out like here and then how do we go back and reset things? Here it's just like cool, reset charge, it's fine, it's fixed. It's like so there are a few things that they have made easier and like and just ultimately the story has to be about Loki kind of finding some kind of purpose, right? Like that's the whole
The
kind of
point
thing.
is, I mean, the central theme of this is already just like one of the reasons it's like grief and everything, and then everything else around it, her becoming,
Yeah.
power level 9,000 Scarlet Witch is like what you need her to be for
Yeah.
the entire Phase 4 to move forward,
Yeah.
and whatever's going on over here, with the whole mystery, which I
Yeah.
love, by the way, the fact that this is like basically
Yeah, it's a
it's
procedural.
Mindhunter,
Yeah.
Mindstone Hunter.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's about his identity ultimately. And he has no
Enjoying
idea.
that.
He's always just been like a contrarian, and he's just done.
Yeah, I just love that whole thing about, like reducing the need for Infinity Stones to kind of be as vital to the plot anymore. Like, otherwise it will always be about Infinity Stones because they're the most powerful things. And now you've just shown that it's not that important also, like it makes Thanos look like a bit of a dumbass because like, I mean, like if he even knew something like this existed, why wouldn't he kind of chase after it? So anyway, it's
the
nice.
whole thing is like pretty big on metaphors. Just the fact that he's supposed to be chasing after another version of him, and there's so many different variants of him, and he's trying to figure out. It's layered really well, and it's great. It's already my favorite show.
Yeah, I think it's already. I mean, like, I'm still gonna say WandaVision until this show ends, but we'll get to it. I'm sure we'll get to it. Anyway, the shows have been very, very. This aesthetic is really great as well. This retro future hipster kind of space. It's really cool.
It's not in the future. That's what he asked him, right? He's like, when is
no retro future, as in the genre. Like the old school machinery to do a very, very I just like that aesthetic.
Isn't that weird? It kind of gives it away, doesn't it? Like they're supposed to be they're outside of time.
Yeah, something like that. And the thing is, I would be such a stickler for those kinds of details, but they've made it kind of less important in this show. Like it depends on, like in Endgame, it's like the details are so important, right? The loopholes. Oh, okay, but how can they go back from here? And here it's just not.
Time.
Here you don't have to kind of care so much about that. You just have to kind of enjoy the.
It's like it's basically just a character study, and he's the only one who's not sharing a show with anyone. So
yeah.
He has way more time.
That is true. That's true. I mean, apart from himself. Anyway, let's conclude our Loki weekly discussion at that. And let's move on to the main topic of today's episode. Ruchi, why did you bring this up? Why did you say let's do fictional crushes? Let's talk about characters from pop culture that we have all had a secret crush on. Now revealing those.
It's because I want to talk about my secret crush. No, I'm kidding.
No, that's fine. That's cool.
It's because someone, right as we were talking about what we want to talk about, someone had asked me. Someone sent me like a Instagram post with like what do you call it? A carousel slideshow.
A carousel, yes.
Yeah, of fictional crushes, and they were like, all right, you might like this, and like who's, just out of curiosity, who's your fictional. So someone did ask me that, and it was all happening parallelly. So I was like,
interesting.
I wish I had a better answer.
No, this is good. No, this is perfectly reasonable. And so we have decided, and you've put me as well on the spot because I haven't really. I mean, of course, I have
I don't
crushes.
think that at all. Everyone's thought of it.
No, I know, but just to bring things to mind on an immediate kind of way. I mean, so I thought we'd begin by perhaps going through, like I do want to say, my favorite is like Princess Leia, or something like that. So I want to kind of get rid of the big three, which is like Star Wars, Marvel, DC. And we'll just talk about who we like respectively from each of those three universes. How about we start with that? And then we can go to like outside those three realms, if there's anybody else that you fancy. And then we can talk about why.
I know my answers.
You know your answers. Yeah, that's great. So that's great because we said we'd prepare and come.
No, even before you asked me to prepare,
Lovely.
I know one for sure, and I've already like talked about it on my Instagram.
Great. So let's begin with Marvel, and I want to say let's stick to the MCU because I have separate answers for the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and I have a separate answer for the comic books. Yeah, just generally. But
then it would just be someone from the X-Men.
I mean, sure. I mean, or like no, okay, not Marvel. Okay, when I say Marvel Cinematic Universe, okay, I just mean all the movies and television shows. Like including the X-Men, and so
No,
much
that's
fun.
not fair.
How is it not fair? They're all Marvel movies.
You said Marvel Cinematic Universe, the
Yeah,
MCU.
I mean,
It's not fair.
no, no. Okay, I want to put the film world to and any live action thing in one go, and then we can maybe.
Tejas' answer is Halle Berry, which is why he's fighting so hard.
Well, I did not think of that, but okay, let's go with Marvel for you. Who's your Marvel fictional crush?
Can I just say Loki at this point because he's already
Because he's trending? Is that what the kind of girl you are who just likes what's hot and is trending and that's what it is? No.
no, but it's
Forbidden.
also no, yeah, he's the most intriguing from the MCU. I mean,
Listen, I'm gonna judge you if you say I just love him because he's hot, or like, oh, he's
No.
he's so smart, he's so mischievous.
sapiosexual.
Yeah, the sapiosexual version of this.
No, I mean,
we can like a character if
obviously-
they're hot. That's cool. Ain't no judgment around here.
Okay, no, Loki, sure. If I had to name one person from the MCU, from Marvel,
From the cinematic universe.
yeah,
Okay. Yeah. Loki is great. I mean,
just because he's funny and there's always like he's a scene stealer. I love a scene stealer.
he does steal several scenes.
Yeah, he doesn't even have to be in the movie for too long. And you already
It's a tough one, The problem with fictional crushes from live action is that my crush for the actor portraying them is kind of layered on top of that. So that kind of makes it rules out. So I don't want to pick Rachel McAdams. I would pick her in every single like iteration of any movie she's been in, whether it's About Time
Mean
or
Girls.
The Time Traveler's Wife. I know I love those movies. That technically comes under pop culture as well. Mean Girls, sure. But I mean, and I do love her in Doctor Strange as well. I think she's just like sweet and reliable. And
So
I
wait,
think
you're bringing up Rachel McAdams because she's in the MCU in Doctor Strange?
she is, right? Like, I was gonna say that I was gonna rule that out because
No, of course you have to.
yeah, because I just love Rachel McAdams. So I think that's difficult to say. Having said that,
And I would have said Jude Law. Such an easy answer.
really? All right, fair,
What's
fair.
wrong with Jude Law? He's
All right, no, he's
great,
great.
let's
He's
have it.
really he's a sexy guy. No, I get it. I dig it. If there's anybody here in the comments, please put your fictional crushes in the comments. I really want to read this. This is really
also
good.
like ask us to stop bickering.
No, it's totally fine. The bickering
gonna-
is the and Ruchi, also you should move slightly to this side because your own head is being obscured by. It's like we're playing like an Ellen game.
Heads up, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So I would say, man, this is tough. But I really.
You really
okay.
want to see Storm? That's why you fought for the X-Men movies to be included.
No, I just thought that. No, that's not.
Or Jean Grey.
I love Jean. No, see, I want to pick a character who's had as much influence on the material it's from than just being really. It's fine. But if I had to choose, I would choose Peggy Carter. Okay, from Captain America: The First Avenger. She's amazing. She's really cool. And also, I am one of the only people that I know who has seen the entirety of Agent Carter, the series, which I love and is amazing. And she is she starts S.H.I.E.L.D. She's like highly influential. She's going to be featuring once again in the What If series, which is due this year. She's going to be playing Captain America. And honestly, I just love to see her again. And most recently, we saw her in what is speculation, but in episode 1 of Loki, where somebody says that, oh, we saw Peggy Carter kind of walk through. And I don't know how much of that is true or if we'll see any of that. That's great. I think what I love about it is that, in the show at least, is that we're getting kind of obscure characters, kind of mix and match and all of that. But I love Peggy Carter because she's great and she takes no quarter. And also she's like, like in the sense that she's not like like basically what Natalie Portman was in the first 2 Thor movies. She's not just like a girlfriend for no reason.
Yeah.
Even though Natalie Portman is coming back, there's going to be something cool there. But I do like, Actually, I kind of like the idea also that Natalie Portman is kind of becoming Thor, and now there might be another, like there might be a female Loki. That's kind of cool, interesting in that way. But I do like I do like Peggy Carter, and I just think Haley Atwell is really cute, and now she's gonna be in the Mission Impossible movies. Let's
Yes.
go, let's go. Anyway, so that's my Marvel. That's my Marvel one. Let's move on. DC, just movies.
Just movies?
Yeah, we're
Oh,
doing it. We're gonna go through these three big universe, and then we're gonna go to our other crushes.
Okay. Uma Thurman from.
Oh, that's great.
That's like influential. Like I don't even remember at what age exactly that I watched that movie.
2, if my math is right.
Yeah, probably. Sure. And that's how I remember. And I was like, all right, I have a crush on her at age 2.
Yeah,
But she's great.
she is.
Yeah, she's the highlight of that movie for me. Even though like Arnold Schwarzenegger
Yeah,
makes
yeah.
a lot of fun.
No,
She's-
that movie is, yeah. No, of course. Everyone in that movie is amazing. I recently read a tweet about like how, oh, that movie is about one person trying to add more like greenery and plants to the planet, and the other one is trying to cool it down, and the billionaire wins in the end. Yeah. So
She, yeah, it has to be her. Or Michelle Pfeiffer.
I would have gone with Michelle
Yeah.
Pfeiffer, personally speaking, because that is one of my like all-time favorite movies. Even though it's not even my favorite Batman movie, as I think yesterday is 26 years of Batman Forever, and Nicole Kidman in that movie, who plays like she's like there's a new character, Dr. Chase Meridian, who introduced me to my own like my own hormones, I guess. But man, she's basically in that whole movie. And okay, if I may go for
Doesn't Chase Meridian sound like a bank? That's what I always thought.
like
I
a
was
bank,
oh,
yeah, it's like Chase Bank or Meridian Bank. But she is straight up trying to bone Batman in that movie. She
Yeah.
constantly
Like
brings it up.
everyone. Everyone's always
No,
trying to-
not as like openly kind of bring up. She literally says, "Okay, cool. I'll bring like lube. You bring the suit. I'll bring this. Let's go for it." And I'm just like, wow, your straightforwardness in this situation is doing things to my body. Anyway, like here's the thing. Nicole Kidman was at like peak, like she was so gorgeous and like hot in this movie, and she wants to bone Batman. Like, what the hell else? Sorry, I know I wanted to pick a character who adds to the plot.
She does add to the plot.
She does. I just want to say, Geek Fruit has done a very, very good episode on Batman Forever, which I post on my Instagram. But I will say this. She not single-handedly, but in the movie, she gives Bruce like a Malaysian dream doll. And, she kind of helps him think about his trauma. And she's a psychologist.
Yeah,
This
she's
is
a doctor.
She's a criminal psychologist, I think, and she still diagnoses Bruce. And at the end, when Edward Nygma steals all of Bruce's memories, he also takes away the bad ones. And then at the end, he gives her back the doll and says, "I don't think I need this anymore, just you." Boom. So yeah, holy shit, Chase Meridian from Batman
Doctor. Yeah.
Forever. Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Because
Great.
Bruce Wayne is also a doctor. Yeah, that's cool. That's interesting. Anyway, yeah. So
No, now I'm still having trouble picking between Catwoman and.
I mean, Michelle Pfeiffer is a goddess. So it's like, I mean, maybe you should pick her just so that at least one of us does.
Yeah, probably.
But there's so many people in the DC. I would
should
say
probably
that
pick her because there's a lot of discourse, but we won't get
about
into it.
Catwoman. Yeah, I know. I will say this: all the Catwomen, including Halle Berry, who has been,
Yeah.
this is the second time I bring her up. But I think even
Zoe Kravitz.
no.
Anne Hathaway.
Anne Hathaway, I think she's a little underrated as Catwoman. She was great in that film. And I love that movie, as you know. So all the Catwomen,
Might have mentioned a couple of times.
yeah, all are great. So yeah, so I'm gonna go with Dr. Chase Meridian. What about you?
I'm gonna go with Catwoman. I think he's so
Great.
Well, also because the last time I saw Batman Returns was in the theater, and it was when I was still living in the UK. I watched it back to
Oh, you're
back.
so lucky. I've never seen it in the theater.
Yeah, it was really cool. So I watched the first one was back to back, double bill. Watched Batman and then Batman Returns. There was a gap. The guy I was with, who I barely knew, I didn't know him that well,
Uh-huh.
and it was so awkward that neither of us ever realized how many innuendos that movie had.
Oh, of
And it was
course.
just, I was like, okay, is this like, this is making an already like semi awkward situation like even worse. And we were just like, ah, all right, cool. They're cool. And then we have never seen each other again.
No, that movie, yeah, it's packed. I love it also, and it's great. And just the iconography of that whole film, with just the way she becomes Catwoman and her suit, everything is iconic. She's great. I love her. In fact, there's that very famous quote, right? Like Kevin Feige always said, he's like, has there been any star who has really like starstruck you on any Marvel film? He's like, the only time it ever truly happened was when I saw Michelle Pfeiffer on Ant-Man and the Wasp, and I believe it. I believe it. So yeah, even though Robert Redford, his last movie ever is Avengers Endgame. So it's like, that is insane to me.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that counts.
It does. Yeah. It's just incredible. Anyway, let us move on. Star Wars. Do you have a choice from Star Wars,
You
Ruchi?
should take, yeah, no, you should take it.
I mean, you should also. Okay, I'll say. Okay, I have a good one, and you won't know this character, I think, but there is it's
Is it
good.
from the show?
I have a good range of characters. I know why I've picked all of these people.
Probably from the shows, right?
Yeah, it's from one of the shows. There's a show called Rebels, obviously, which I love. And on that show, there's a cool, this is what's so nice about the romance on this show. It's between the Jedi Kanan, who's played by Freddie Prinze Jr., and so Kanan's there are people in this crew who are just basically the spark of what is going to be the rebellion, essentially, or the rebel forces. And so the Ghost crew has a bunch of these characters, blah blah blah, and the main, like, kind of like the pseudo leader and captain of the Ghost is a Twi'lek named Hera Syndulla, who's basically daughter of another character from the Clone Wars, Cham Syndulla, and he was like a great leader. And this is his daughter, who's kind of rebelled from her father and is just doing her own thing, and also gets a name drop in Rogue One. So that's really, really great. Says, calling Captain Syndulla to the bay, and it's just like, my heart exploded. Anyway, so the cool thing about Hera is that, and Kanan specifically in this thing, is that their romance is like, their relationship is never spoken of, but they're just like looks and stuff throughout the first 3 seasons. And in the final season, they finally like address it, because they're just like, we don't have time for a relationship because we're trying to take care of all these kids. And they finally address it. And the thing about Hera is that she's like a Princess Leia, but she's like one of the best pilots. She's just like super cool, and she's like a very motherly figure, like to the rest of the kids in the crew. And I think that's just like the most endearing thing. She's like a no nonsense kind of like, I'm a fucking get this shit together whether you like it or not. He's like, so anyway, all of that is beautiful, and I love her, and she's really, really awesome. So that would be my Star Wars crush. This is subject to change as and when things like kind of keep happening, but yeah, I do love her. I think she's great. So that's my pick. Ruchi, do you have a pick?
It's so hard. Because I don't want to be like, Luke Skywalker. Like, and I'm never going to say Han Solo, because I've already gone on like a rant about how he's a great character, but like if he wasn't in Star Wars and he was just like a character in any other movie, he'd
that's like any character though. It's like,
he's
oh
a
man,
cool
if Walter
guy.
White was a real guy, I would not like him very much. Yeah, you shouldn't. You should really not.
Yeah, he's a cool guy.
But he's a scoundrel with a heart of gold. I can defend him forever. Sorry.
Yeah, I only like him because like of what Leia brings out in him. Otherwise,
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
You're right. But yeah.
should I just say Din Djarin at this point? Also because
That is
but this
super
is like a
cool.
whole actor situation. But then I also really love the Mandalorian.
The character is amazing, right? Like
Yeah.
he's this kind of
He's
meme that is going on Twitter.
He's a quiet dad figure, which is
So
very
both
rare.
of our choices align. I see it. It's just in a saga about
Like our issues are like broadcast.
in a saga about parents and their kids. Of course, you're gonna pick people who are good father or mom figures. It's fine. I like that.
Yeah, and he's also like you're talking about no nonsense. Like he's really like he has no hang-ups and he has no
He has some hang-ups. He won't take off his
Yeah.
helmet, but now he's gotten over that.
yeah. Oh my god, that was
And I get it, sent his kid to boarding school. So, there's so
and
much.
I went to boarding school.
I
See,
know.
stop
This is what
making
I'm
sense.
saying. Yeah. But yeah, I think this whole thing on the internet about how Din Djarin knows nothing about the Force and just
Yeah.
like uses different terms to just to
Team
reference that
With
stuff
it, yeah.
is very endearing, and it's just really refreshing, to be honest. And I think that's quite attractive.
It is attractive. And also he's not what I mean about him not having any hang-ups is that he doesn't really have he has his own ideas that are obviously subject to change.
He's got a
You know,
code.
He's got a code which is subject to change. He's supposed to he's on the run with the target of his mission.
That's hot.
Yeah.
That's hot.
Yeah.
Nothing hotter than a code.
And he cares about his code and whatever aligns with that, whether you're like an external thing. And other than that, not much really. And that's kind of cool that he's not around to like change everything else. He like he minds his business. You can't find guys like that.
I agree. Hey, I agree. I would really like
And
for
also
him to hook
Pedro
up.
Pascal's voice-
He needs to really hook up with any one of the characters over there. I know Ahsoka is going to be like very, very controversial. But by her own admission, she's not a
supposed to be-
Jedi, so
He's supposed to be much older than him.
who cares? Who cares?
No, I
It's
mean,
Star Wars.
Isn't that how it works? Like, she's in Clone Wars and everything.
She's probably, I mean, she ages differently, that's for sure, but she's supposed to be in her like 40s now, and I guess he's in his 30s, but who cares? That's cool.
No,
Like
that's-
Ahsoka, the
yeah.
other thing is like, the whole Jedi are, so I've been reading a lot about this whole thing in my manual, the Jedi path, but the Jedi are not, they are sworn to not take lovers, but they're
Yeah,
not,
right, I've
but
read
they're
about
not
that.
celibate. So hey, that's one thing.
I've
The
read
second
about
thing is, the second thing is that Ahsoka doesn't identify as a Jedi. She's what we call a gray Jedi, but in many ways, I mean, Dave Filoni has said, she's more Jedi than all because she actually has a proper code as well. Because everyone has had a relationship. Anakin, Yoda probably. I mean, where else did this kid come from? And and finally,
Yoda.
Obi-Wan.
Alright.
Obi-Wan has had a relationship, man, with Bo-Katan's like mom, essentially, or sister.
No,
sorry.
so what exactly is the rationale that you're not supposed to fall in love?
You're not supposed. Basically, you're not supposed to have expectations or feelings from someone else, because that can sway you from the path of the Force. And that's fine. Yeah, that's actually, it's quite Buddhist, and I guess that's a thing. But doesn't mean you can't like have fun.
Right.
So I would really like that, or if like of Din Djarin kind of, to settle the Mandalorian score of who's gonna take the throne. Just like both of them, man. Yo, that would be great. Bo-Katan is awesome. She's great. She's a bit of a she's not exactly a good person in Clone Wars. She's like a bit of a villain, but then she kind of becomes good. It's great. Anyway, and I just think that this is primed for a good love story, which I would love to see.
What a missed opportunity it is that you're not working on season 3.
Yeah, I know. It just generally, I don't know. I don't think I would ever want to work for Star Wars. Like, I just want to enjoy it. Anyway.
Want to be the target of people on the internet any more than you
Oh,
are.
I don't care about that.
Yeah.
That's fine. I just don't want
That's
to.
almost religious, by the way. Going back to that, the fact that they're not supposed to have
Yeah, I mean, the
family,
Jedi is a religious cult. The
basically.
Jedi are, sorry. Um, yeah, and yeah, they're weird. But that's the whole thing, right? Like the whole thing about Last Jedi is just like, just their own like stupid code that led them down the drain. Anyway, let's move on. Okay, so we've got our
It's been
Star
done.
Wars, we've got our Marvel and DC picks. Now we shall swiftly move forward to other characters not from these realms. Do you have any who are your crushes? And we can go across the board here. So
Easy answer. And this is every time anyone's ever asked me, oh, about your sexual awakening, the earliest memory that you have of being like even remotely aroused, I have one single answer, and it's never going to change because it's probably just by law of elimination. It's the earliest thing that I can remember, and it's Cameron Diaz and the Mask.
oh yeah, of course you've mentioned this
I
before.
specifically remember watching
So hot.
her intro, and I couldn't, like, I've said this before, as inappropriate as it is, I was obviously single digits at that point, but I had feelings that I couldn't explain at that time, and I was still, yeah, that thing is so important to me. Wait,
No, I get it. I get
that
it.
thing is so important to me. It's on my, like, I uploaded it for Valentine's Day on my Instagram, being like, don't ask me anymore, but like, this is my definitive answer, and it's never going to change because it's made that much of an impact on me. And it's not the most radical. She's wearing a red dress.
Dude, she's so hot in that. Come on. When she enters
Yeah.
the bank, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
she wants, she has a camera. Like, the whole point is that she's, honeypot, basically.
Mhm.
But she is. And
Yeah, she's gorgeous, man, in that. I remember her from that movie. What's the name of the club? The Coco Bongo? No, what is it called? I can't-
Yeah.
I used to watch the TV show, the animated TV show, so it was really good. But yeah, man, I think your Cameron Diaz is my
Cameron Diaz,
is my
and that
Nicole
is, like,
Kidman in
the height.
in Batman Forever. I get it. I completely get it. Cool.
Definitely.
That's a great call. Let me think. Who? I mean, I did wanna. I wanted to talk about, like. I mean, that's like obviously a very like visceral kind of memory for you. But I remember. I mean, I didn't want to bring up another Marvel one, but this is from a comic book which I really really love, called Spider-Man Blue, which is by Jeff Loeb, and it's part of a series I think that they did, called Daredevil Yellow, Captain America White, Hulk Gray, and then Spider-Man Blue. And Spider-Man Blue is I think it was Jeff Loeb who wrote this, and it's a really really great story. It's just basically about how Spider-Man is married to Mary Jane and he's fine, and then he goes into the attic and he finds these old cassettes of recordings with him and Gwen Stacy, and so he starts to hear that, and he feels quite blue, and that's like the whole thing is about how he's feeling blue about it. And as he plays it back, they kind of these 6 issues kind of show their actual, their how their love kind of began and blossomed and all of that stuff. And it was interesting for me because it was just like, I also read it when I was, I think it was in college or whatever it is. So it was like a very kind of college kind of set story. And the other thing was just that the older comics, which did the whole Gwen Stacy arc and the Green Goblin arc, I mean, the older comics weren't really like, not nuanced. It was just like comics, and Gwen Stacy of course dies at the hands of the Green Goblin, and it's a very tragic death, and things like that. But in this series, it's really kind of fleshed out about why they love each other and like why it's like this really really sad thing for him, and it just ends really really. The whole thing is just melancholy, and it ends with Mary Jane kind of is at the door, and she's been hearing all of this, all of these recordings between them, and instead of like saying anything, she just says, she just feels bad for Peter, and they go together to Gwen Stacy's grave, and it ends there. And it's just really, really sad, and it's really beautiful. And I'm not saying this is a fictional, like, it's like, when you read that, you kind of realize why Gwen Stacy is such a big deal in the comics, and like why Peter loves her, and it's like because it's very emotional story, but it's a beautiful story, and it's really really nice, extremely well like drawn and written, and yeah, big recommend. But after that, and especially also maybe I was I didn't like the Amazing Spider-Man movies, but Emma Stone is Gwen Stacy, and she does a half decent job at being, you know, like a very like likable Gwen Stacy.
Kunal Rao's gonna hate this. He wants this.
Sorry?
Kunal Rao's gonna hate the
No,
fact
I don't like those movies either, right? Like, but it's Spider-Man. I love Spider-Man, so I mean, I don't like it at
hate
all.
the
But
fact that you called Emma Stone a half decent Gwen Stacy.
no, yeah. Oh, he loves Emma Stone.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's why. Okay, cool. No, I think she does a really good job. I think that's part of one of the few things that's really good about those two movies, that they're kind of, even though it's really like he's not the best Peter Parker, but you know, it is an interesting kind of like dynamic that they had, and I was like very intrigued as to how they were gonna conclude it, which they do, of course, and it is kind of sad, you know, like, so they accomplish that thing, and then you kind of get the other. Sorry, I just want to bring it up. The other show that really convinced me that Gwen Stacy was a really special kind of thing was a show, very short-lived show called Spectacular Spider-Man. And in that show, it was cancelled, I think, after like 1 or 2 seasons, and it was like arguably one of the best like Spider-Man shows. Obviously, I'm not talking about the 90s one that was great, but nobody had done the Gwen Stacy arc as well as that show had done. And they really make a convincing character as to why that loss, why that tragedy has to hurt, is because Gwen Stacy has to be really, really awesome. And both these iterations have done a really, really good job. Oh my gosh, look at the comments. Parag just said, Anurag says, great, Spider-Man Blue is great. Parag says, have you watched the Spectacular Spider-Man series? It's on Netflix. Yeah, exactly what I was just talking about. Yeah, Anurag also says about Amazing Spider-Man 2 and Gwen Stacy's demise in that. But yeah, man, Gwen Stacy, I would say, is like one of the very, very sad kind of things. But it's because, like, I mean, I know she's back and now she's in like Spider-Verse and things like that. So it's cool to see her back, but it's just like one of those things, you know, why people.
Her relationship.
Yeah, it's great. So yeah, I would say that is a pick of mine. Do you have any other picks?
I'd have to say Shigo from Kim Possible. Are you familiar with this character?
I only watched Kim Possible like randomly, but yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so it's a very light show anyway. There's nothing.
What about Ron Stoppable? Yeah.
Classic best friend turned lover trope. Love that. For every Ron has gone through the same emotions, I guess. Yeah, but then Shigo is the muscle basically of Kim Possible's number one nemesis, Dr. Draken.
Mm-hmm.
And he's basically like us. Like, he's an overexcited nerd about everything that he's creating and every new invention of his that is like about to change the world for the worse, obviously, since he's the bad guy.
Right.
But he's super excited and he's overly, you know, he doesn't really know how to like stop himself. She's his muscle. She, on the other hand, does not. All she cares about is what she's supposed to do to protect him and his inventions and his plans. Other than that, she couldn't give a fuck about any of it. She doesn't care. And yeah, I guess she's like the typical cool girl trope in the way that she's not malleable and like, oh, free flowing, I'll do whatever you want. But she's like, yeah, I'm too cool to care about any of your dumb. And she's drawn great. She looks exactly like Kim Possible if Kim Possible was hot. She has.
If Kim Possible was hot?
You should Google her. People dress up as Shigo by the hundreds at least. Yeah. And she has a green and black suit. She's like luminous and she glows because there's, you know, spoilers later on. That's why she's like that. But yeah, she's also pivotal.
Give us the lowdown on Kim Possible. What's happening? Is the show concluded? Is there a sequel series?
It's on Disney Plus. Please go watch it, guys. And I want more people to really get into it.
Yeah. It was a big show back in the day.
Short synopsis for people who don't know. She's a undercover spy. She's still in school.
Mm-hmm.
She has Q type character who sends her gadgets, and her parents are really affluent psychology professors.
Love
And
that.
her best friend is Ron, who now we've spoiled it for you. They get together later on, but he's also like a bumbling sort of fool, and she is the one who always has like things under control. And he has a naked mole rat for a pet, which is also important.
This is these details, man. That's what makes the whole show. That sounds amazing. It
That
sounds
is
really good.
great. That was one of my like I had that Happy Meal toy forever. I had a Happy Meal toy which Ron fires like his crossbow, and instead of like the crossbow coming on, his pants fall off, and I would like have that and use that all.
Lovely. That is a thing. Yeah, and just to transition, sweetly from this, Anurag Nair says, I might be a little too young for this, but Gwen Tennyson from Ben 10 Alien Force. Not sure if you know.
Thank
Of
you.
course.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen,
Oh
I was a huge Ben 10 fan. I won't say
Same. I had no idea you were a Ben 10 fan.
yeah. I mean, I watched the show like I finished all. I think I finished until season maybe 3 or 4.
No,
Until
you
it
didn't
becomes
watch
Ultimate Alien.
Force?
I mean, no, I think I just dropped off at some point, but I enjoyed it thoroughly.
His look in Ben 10 Alien Force, like they fully
Sorry,
switched
Alien
up
Force,
his-
yeah.
Yeah, they fully switched up his look, and he had like again like a green. This is like fully showing off the fact that I really like green.
No, it's great.
Loki also. Yeah.
I think what's awesome about it is that they aged the characters and the whole plumbers and all of that stuff. Like that whole lore. I think what I liked so much about Ben 10 is that it had continuity, and it had like a long kind of arc, and these kids kind of grow up, Kevin 11, all of that stuff. Obviously the monsters are really cool, the aliens are really awesome. All of that stuff was great. I remember watching it so much.
He might be too young for this. I'm a huge Ben 10.
No, yeah, we're all young. We're all the same. But yeah, man, Gwen is great. I mean, I don't see her as a love interest or like a fictional crush, but she was very sweet and awesome, man. Like she was.
Yeah.
It's all about that. That family. It's great.
Yeah.
And but yeah, 100%. Ben 10 was amazing, man. Like I still think it's great. If I may add, also, I don't know if people have seen Samurai Jack, the final concluding season, but there is a character called Ashi who's like the best. And like what I really like about these characters, maybe I think this is maybe this is kind of revealing, but I think I love the characters who the main characters also kind of love. Like I wanted Jack to have some kind of respite from the existence that he's had, like being thrown into the future. It's just crazy. And that he finds something that he can just doesn't have to do it on his own. I think that is really, that's special. And that is amazing. I love that about all of these characters. That's what I want for Batman. I want to chase Meridian. That's what I want for, Kanan. I want Hera. That's the vibe. I love that. I do want to quickly say, but Parag says, what Spider-Verse noticing Gwen's melancholy throughout, watching her dead best friend living his life as a middle-aged Spider-Man. That is cool. That's an interesting way of looking at the movie, like through that perspective. And how sad that makes her, but there's a throwaway line for her about her that they're not the same people as they seem in this universe. So yeah, of course. I am so excited for Spider-Verse 2. I mean, it's like, I mean, it's so weird when we talk about animated movies. We don't really talk, or Spider-Man. It's just like we talk about everything except Spider-Verse, because Spider-Verse is just like in a league of its own almost,
Really?
Yeah, I don't bring it up. Like, I just think it's like Spider-Verse is just somewhere else. It's too good, like to discuss.
Too many times.
Like, I can't compare it to the Spider-Man in the MCU at all.
I
It's
can.
just, I can't. Like the MCU Spider-Man is just not even close to how good.
No, I mean I can, and exactly. It's
Yeah, but
not-
that's why I don't even utter them in the same sentence, because this is like, it's not even worth kind of putting in the same thing. It's like one is Tom Holland, all right, and the other one is Spider-Verse.
I love
I know you love Tom Holland. That's your real crush, not fictional.
for sure.
Inara and Kaylee from Firefly, somebody has mentioned. Yes, that is true. We've spoken about Firefly. Again, I think we did an episode very well, like maybe at the beginning of the podcast, where we said love in the multiverse or something, and we spoke about our favorite couples in these books. Captain America says, talk about crushes on the Harry Potter universe. Of course, we haven't discussed our very favorite Harry Potter universe, and maybe that's what we will conclude this episode with. So, Richie, I'm gonna let you finish. Go ahead. Tell us about Harry Potter. I mean, yeah, I can't believe I didn't bring Harry. Again, maybe that's because I don't consider it to be in the big three. Then I should be also talking about Lord of the Rings. But anyway, which I do have a crush. I have a crush.
From Lord of the Rings?
Yeah. And it's not Arwen. I'll say that. I love Liv Tyler, but it's not her. It's actually a fictional character I mean, they're all fictional, but it was not in the original books. Tauriel. Huh?
It's Kate Blanchett.
No. Oh, Kate Blanchett, if you are not like absolutely like afraid for your life after watching her in that movie, yeah, I mean Thor won't do that, but that movie will. No, I was gonna say Kate. No, it's the Wasp. It's
Evangeline Lilly.
Evangeline Lilly. Yes, Tauriel.
That's a great name also. The fact that that's her name.
What all of it. Tauriel, Evangeline, Lilly, all the names are good for her. And I love her.
Yeah, she's hot in the MCU as well.
She's the Wasp. My gosh, she's so hot in that. Anyway, but yes, Harry Potter. Ruchi, go ahead.
Crush from the Harry Potter.
Yeah, I mean, I'm starting to think also, like, is there anyone? I mean, is there anyone except McGonagall worth mentioning?
I know Bellatrix Lestrange. Probably.
We can go weird with this one, huh?
Sirius
We can
Black,
go weird
right?
with it.
No, but Sirius Black is the general answer, isn't it? Because
What about Nymphadora Tonks?
also,
I like her in the books as well. Yeah, she's great in
yeah.
that.
But then Sirius Black is like everybody. That's the only character anyone wants a prequel of. They're obsessed with him.
Yeah, but I don't know. I think he's a bit. I love him.
That's
but I
like
think
Gary Oldman.
it's Gary Oldman that seals the deal. I mean, he's great in the books, but
Another
the
great
guy-
father figure.
not a great father figure at all. He's a child. He's a child. Lupin, man, is the underrated champ of that series. Like, he's the guy who I really, really love. Akshay says Lucius Malfoy is a piece.
Is a crush?
100%. Yeah, I think people are like totally crushed on Tom Felton as this movie coming out. He's good looking. He's
the
a
other side of-
platinum blonde boy in sorry, and the way he says anything in those movies. But go ahead.
Lucius Malfoy or Draco Malfoy?
Oh, I'm thinking. Oh, sorry, I said Lucius Malfoy. Even better, Jason Isaacs, who is great in so many things.
But Lucius Malfoy, the character, I don't know about that.
Yeah, okay, I know. I think we're again the layering of the
But
actors.
he's given Dobby a sock, and Dobby is free. So yeah.
Are you saying Dobby is your fictional crush?
No, I'm saying he did that one good thing.
Not by accident.
But he did it.
I do like his character. I think it's layered. It's good. Like all the Malfoys are great in this.
I love that iconic scene at the end of Chamber of Secrets with him saying,
I think you can say that about any scene in that, but go ahead.
Yeah, no, but in the scene in Dumbledore's office where he's like, I'm sure like Mr. Potter will be around to save the day, and when Harry says, "Don't worry, I will be," apparently that's like a full improv moment, and he wasn't even supposed to say that.
Oh wow, Daniel.
I know, like a child.
He's a child. No, I think it's my least favorite Harry Potter movie.
Probably, yeah. Probably Sirius Black or Bellatrix.
Okay,
I
Sirius
can't
Black
really think
or
of I can't
Bellatrix.
think of a crush from the Harry Potter universe. It's not Hermione. It's
I'm
not
thinking.
Harry.
I'm just thinking. I'm gonna say so I'll tell you why. Cause Ginny Weasley from the books, Captain America says, and heart emoji. So Ginny Weasley, I suppose.
And they really like wasted her in the movies as well. So
Yeah, they did. Yeah, I who's my?
Luna Long.
I mean, the weird thing is that I guess we were all kids back then, but let me think. I can't think of
Wow.
I can't think of it. This may be indicative of how little I care about Harry Potter universe.
All this.
I do
fighting.
like what's her? Oh my gosh! From Fantastic Beasts. Uh,
Oh,
Sam something's daughter. What's her name?
Tina in the movie.
Tina. Yeah. I love her.
Catherine Watterson.
Catherine Watterson. So Sam Watterson's daughter. Yeah.
Yeah, but
Catherine
their
Watterson.
relationship is great. That could be my favorite. Yeah, Newt Scamander, but he's not even in from the Harry Potter. Does he count?
Of course he is. I mean, like
Yeah.
he's in a book, so technically that counts.
Yeah,
Uh,
definitely easy Newt
I'll
Scamander. He's
say
adorable.
yeah. He's actually would be mine as well. But I'll say Tina because she's I love Catherine Watterson. She's
Again,
also in Alien
Yeah,
Covenant.
the guy. Yeah, basically your pick is the person, the main character.
Also, she's really nice, man. She's really sweet
really
in a basically in a universe which is full of d bags and like where people care
yeah,
very little about
Hermione
others.
included, by the way.
All of them don't care about anything except this one.
No,
Um,
also Newt Scamander is a really good.
Newt Scamander is a
Pick
great
because
choice. You know, he's a great choice.
He's a great.
I'm surprised you didn't pick Jude Law after your entire Jude Law. I love Jude Law.
Not from the Harry Potter.
He's Dumbledore.
Yeah, but he didn't really have much to do. I don't like that second movie.
Oh, you know, this guy's really good. Colin Farrell is really good in the first
Oh,
movie. He's
yes.
cool. He's hot.
So he's great in everything.
He's hot. But his best role is undoubtedly Bullseye in Daredevil. Sorry, go ahead.
Sandra is a great character because he's another like keeps to himself. He really cares about what he cares about. He's shy, but
he's got a
he will
purpose,
fight
man.
for the things that he loves.
Mhm.
And he's not obnoxious.
He's not obnoxious, which is really
I don't
important.
like obnoxious guys.
Important. No, super important.
Yeah.
Quickly in the comments. Akshay says Fred and George Weasley. Oh, whichever one is left, I guess. Anyway, and Parag says Ramona Flowers from Scott Pilgrim. And here I'm gonna defer because I think Ramona. It's just no, man. I think as you get older, you just realize that shit, that pixie, manic pixie dream girl. It's just no, man. Don't do it, guys. Don't. 500 Days of Summer has not aged well. Ramona Flowers has not aged well.
The actor is cute. She's cute.
Oh, I love Mary Elizabeth. Obviously, she's Obi-Wan's girlfriend now, man.
Oh yeah.
And she's great in anything.
Why isn't she also?
She should be in Halston, yeah. Anurag says, are you guys going to discuss Disney? Like characters from Disney?
I think that's done.
Oh, Mulan. Boom. Straight up my favorite crush,
Very-
animated crush ever. But she's like a baby, which is weird now. But I loved her as a kid, so hey, it's all fine.
Prince Eric, obviously, isn't that every? Yeah.
I suppose, yes, the traditional choice.
It's really Mike Wazowski.
I will say, yeah, I will say, one of my favorite characters is, oh man, it's gone from me. Amy Adams in Enchanted is so adorable and great, and she's got a great voice, and everything is good in that.
It's coming back for sequels.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm super excited because that was one of my favorite movies.
So then
I know
James
every
Marsden
line in that
counts
movie.
as well.
Sorry,
James Marsden counts as well. He's in it.
James?
James Marsden.
Oh, James. Oh, dude, the man is the man has been escorting animated characters in his car for generations, and he's also Cyclops. But anyway, I think oh, we got one more. Vanessa from Phineas and Ferb.
Again, so Vanessa.
Not Candace, nobody's no love for Candace.
No, but she's gonna tell mom. So no.
She has her own movie now, man.
Ashley Tisdale is an underrated.
Oh, she was great
actor.
in those High School Musical movies.
No, but she was great in that. But she's brilliant in Phineas and Ferb. Like
Yeah.
that is it holds her own. But yeah, so Vanessa's along the same lines as Shigo. And yeah, Vanessa is also the muscle to the main nemesis of Perry the Platypus, who's a weird, overexcited scientist, and she doesn't really care. And then Ferb, the quiet guy, ends up with Vanessa, who's like the hottest girl on the whole show.
That's
like
how it happens, yo. That's how it goes. It's the oldest story in the book. Anyway, I love that. I love all of this.
Vanessa's
I think we're gonna leave it at we're gonna leave it there. But guys, you can share this video with others. You can whoever's been watching. You know, maybe we've got some more coming up in the comments. Maybe you guys can leave if you like this episode. Let us know. Join our Discord. There's a link to it in our description, and you can find us on Instagram. And we do events whenever we can. Hopefully, we'll do some physical ones this year as everybody
Physical
gets
ones?
vaxxed. Sorry,
Physical ones?
like in reality, IRL events in the flesh.
Right.
All of this sounds weird, and I'm gonna move on. But yes, thank you so much for watching, Ruchi. Thank you so much for joining me today. We will see you guys next week, and yeah, thanks, Ruchi. See you later, you nerds.